So for 2.16, read and respond peacekeeping in Africa, if I remember right, we did this one in class one day. You might not have been there, and I can't remember the exact date. I don't have my calendar with me, but here's basically what you need to do. The introduction to the lesson says you're going to explore, develop, and express your own ideas about the role of the United Nations peacekeeping forces in Africa. And then there was a student guide, but we didn't do that in class because I put it here. So the 2.16 peacekeeping in Africa reading response. So this tells you step by step what you need to do in order to write a response to a prompt, which in step one is the prompt. Then you can submit it in writing, a video, or an audio file. So step one is to read the prompt. So you're going to read this. Has the United Nations been effective at reducing conflict in Africa? Why or why not? Support your opinion and explanation with at least two pieces of text evidence from the reading to support your response. Step two is to read this background information. So there's just a little bit of background information you need to read to understand kind of some backstory before you actually read. Step three, you have to read in your textbook on page 662 and 663. It's basically like a two-sided argument, a pro-con argument. Yes, the UN was effective, or no, the UN is not effective in peacekeeping in Africa. And then this pro-con decision chart graphic organizer is a way that you can take notes on these two pages, on 662 and 663. Okay, so after you have read it, and you kind of have in your mind what you've read about, that's why I recommend you jotting down some notes on this graphic organizer or just on a piece of paper. You're going to reread the prompt, which is up here in green, and then use a strategy that's called WRAP. This just helps you structure how you're going to write. So what it stands for is R is the restate the question, A is answer the question, P is prove your answer, and then the last P is to proofread and make sure your response makes sense. Okay, so you could even forget about this WRAP part and you can just use this to fill in the blanks. So you could start out by saying the United Nations, either they have been effective or they have not been effective at reducing conflict. You have to choose one side. And if you look in the textbook, you'll see that one side is a yes side and the other side is a no side. So that's going to help you figure out what you need to read. And the reading is really short also. Then has been effective at reducing conflict in Africa because, and then explain whether or not they've been effective and why. And then you're going to give text evidence. This is the prove your answer with text evidence. So you're going to say in the text it says, and then give evidence from the text from your notes, from that article. And then you're supposed to have two pieces of evidence. So you're going to say the article also states, and you're going to give another example from your notes. And so that's going to be this, it's like a fill in the blank template for your response. Okay, so you can either turn in a typed Word file, you can record, you can write it down and record it as a video, or you can record it as an audio when you submit it. Okay, so if the WRAP thing is confusing you, forget that part and then just use this as a fill in the blank template to write your response. But in order to do it, you have to actually read these two pages in your textbook plus this background information. And that way you'll have enough information in order to write your response about peacekeeping in Africa. Hope this helps.